Awesome. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. My name is Kat Polk, and I work with the North Carolina Composting Council as the Executive Director. It's great to see so many familiar faces and some new ones as well. So the North Carolina Composting Council is a 501c3 member-based volunteer-run organization dedicated to the development, expansion, and promotion of composting and compost use in all its forms. Our work is based on sound science, principles of sustainability, and economic viability. And since 2007, the North Carolina Composting Council has been an authorized affiliate organization of the U.S. Composting Council, also known as USCC. And the NCCC promotes the programs and activities of the USCC to advance compost manufacturing, utilization, and organics recycling. We believe compost manufacturing and compost utilization are central to creating healthy soils, clean air and water, a stable climate, and to promote a regenerative society. All right, it's not working. There we go. All right, so I mentioned that we're a member-based organization. If you were to join the U.S. Composting Council and you live in North Carolina, then you would automatically become a North Carolina Composting Council member. And the benefits, membership enables us as a council to encourage and guide research, to promote best composting practices, to educate professionals and the public, to enhance product quality and markets, and and then in return, you all would receive discounts to the conferences, webinars, and other events for the USCC and the NC. So the North Carolina Composting Council operates with a part-time executive director, a working board, and then active committee engagement. In green, these are our committees and our chapters. So we have our Education and Outreach Committee, our Advocacy and Access Committee, which is chaired by Muriel Williman, and Archie and Trey. We have a lot of y'all in here that are on that committee. We have our regional chapters, both the Coastal Composting Chapter, which Trey co-chairs, and then the Mountain Composting Chapter, which is co-chaired by Christine Whitmire and Jen Maxwell. Christine Whitmire is online. That's why I'm pointing to the computer. And then we have our Compost Operator Training Course Planning Committee as well. And we achieve our mission, again, through our active committee engagement, through community outreach and educational events and opportunities, with professional support and networking events, particularly our Sustainable Spirits program. We have an annual microgrants program and our 5-day compost operator training course, which I'll share a little bit more about in a couple of slides. And then I mentioned our Advocacy and Access Committee, which does advocate for compost-friendly policy and legislation in North Carolina. And then we have a lot of organizational partnerships and sponsorships that help increase our capacity. So some of our organizational partnerships, we proudly support projects and organizations that promote healthy soils and sustainable agriculture, responsible land and waste management, circular economies, and resource conservation. So we are an active member as a council of the North Carolina Conservation Network, the Carolina Recycling Association, Carolina Farm Stewardship Association, and the Green Industry Council in North Carolina. We also work very closely with CREF, the Compost Research Education Foundation, in partnership for our COTC program. And then also we work a lot with NC State University and their composting facility as well. We got Matt here. And World Centric, we are grateful for receiving a grant 2 years in a row. So each fall, we, the North Carolina Composting Council, offer a micro grant. There's $1,000, up to $1,000 for projects that promote composting within North Carolina. So essentially any project that develops composting programs and keeps organic materials out of the waste stream. It can include anything from educational materials to composting units or funding for university studies. And that is due each year in October. So keep an eye out later this year for that. And then we have our 5-day annual compost operator training course. It looks like the heading got deleted. I apologize. But this is our COTC program at NC State University. This year it's August 31st to September 4th. It's an extremely in-depth program. This is our 20th anniversary. Yeah, so I was just going to say it, Frank. We're a renowned program, one of the longest running ones in the country. And this year, I already mentioned it, is at the end of July, end of August, first week of September. But registration will open up by July. And last year we were able to get early registration for North Carolina residents. So sometime in the summer, keep an eye out for the Compost Operator Training course. And our Advocacy and Access Committee has been very active and impactful for the past few years. In April of 2024, we hosted a virtual town hall for North Carolina compost industry leaders to share their stories with the North Carolina legislators. And the key findings from that town hall showed that North Carolina composters invest millions in land, infrastructure, and equipment, and they create jobs. Composting is an agricultural practice, and compost is an agricultural product. Composting is an attractive industry for young entrepreneurs getting into agriculture. Compost makes farms productive, profitable, and preserves the fertility of farmland. North Carolina composters help the state and local governments achieve landfill diversion goals. And North Carolina composters are losing money, business, and growth opportunities without protection from North Carolina statute. And North Carolina composters will benefit from recognition in the Right to Farm Act. So our Advocacy and Access Committee, I mentioned, was impactful for the last few years. It started in 2023 with the North Carolina Farm Act, where we were able to enact a sales tax exemption for farmers to purchase compost. In 2024, we continued to educate in the General Assembly, and that resulted in Type 1 compost facilities being added to the Right to Farm Defense nuisance actions. So we kept riding that wave to get, in 2025, for the Farm Act language to add compost and composters to the definition of agriculture, and that is still pending passage, but the language has been written into the bill. So we're hopeful that the 2026 Farm Act will pass with that in it. And then just some upcoming events. We hope that you can join us for the Sustainable Spirits tonight. And then I already mentioned, in June, on June 17th at NC State, we host our annual meeting for members and supporters. So that will be a full day event. And this year's theme will be Shaping the Future of Composting, Policy, Markets, and Momentum. And then our COTC program I already mentioned, and the grants as well. So the best way, or I'll get to that, if you want to become a member and you're not already, there are a couple of two routes to do so: the USCC membership or an NCCC supporting membership. These are the supporting memberships, so this would only be for the North Carolina Composting Council. But as you can see, we tried to reflect the levels of membership that the USCC offers, so there are organizational levels based on the type and size. The USCC memberships, again, you can do individual all the way up to an organizational membership. There's lots of benefits. That's why I put this graphic, so I don't try to relay them all to you. But I can't hype it up enough. Just the network and the resources are invaluable with the USCC. And even if you don't become a member, we hope that you stay engaged with the council, whether it's through advocacy, professional development, the conference held each year, and then the STA certification program. And just a quick thank you to NCCC's 2026 major sponsors, whose support enables us to hire an executive director and participate in events like this. So thank you to Denali, McGill Environmental, Smith & Gardner Engineers, and SCS Engineers. And then also a huge thanks to Jorge, Wanu Organics, and the Compost Capital Network for hosting this as well, and the USCC. And the best way to stay connected with us is through our newsletter subscription. That's what the QR code will take you to get the updates for when our grant and the registration are open for COTC. The newsletter will be the first way to find that out. But we are active on social media, so you can find us on Facebook and YouTube under North Carolina Composting Council, or on LinkedIn or Instagram under NC Composting Council. And then there's my contact info. So thank you all again for being here today, and pass it over for Joe.